The greatest power you possess is your ability to choose. Join Lowe's Moore as he reveals how you can begin to maximize that power by exploring yourself on the deepest levels and committing to making lasting and positive changes. Get ready to achieve breakthroughs that will lead to accelerated growth and transformation, because you are now tuned in to The Blueprint.
Why the actions contradict the lamb. I'm fellowshipping when I'm with the fam. That's more relations, that's forming a phonic.
Good evening and welcome to The Blueprint. And of course, everybody should be able to say this with me. I'm excited. I'm excited because this is the last show for this season on the Blueprint podcast. And next week, I'll be entering into my third season. I mean, who would have thought that I would have been on here for 2 years? I don't, when you project something, when I was thinking about doing the motivational speaking and consulting, of course, it was the pandemic because nobody was going out. And so the one thing that was on my list, my vision board list, was a podcast, which I didn't know at the time what it was, what a podcast was, and what a blog was. Of course, I knew what a website is. I knew a website. I knew what Facebook was. I knew what Instagram was because I did a lot of those things for the Boys and Girls Club as well. But I just didn't know what a podcast was until one day during the pandemic, Alan Houston had invited me and a number of other people to come on to his podcast, but it was on Instagram. It's just two people on the Instagram going back and forth as he was interviewing him, having conversation. I was like, yeah, I could do that. But one of my guests today said, nah, we're not going to do that. We're going to do something a little bit different. And that's when we came up with the get the microphones, get the headphones, get the lights, all those things, different things, cameras to do the podcast. So here I am 2 years later, and I'm on. I've been on for 2 years, and it's been wonderful. I transitioned from, playing basketball into, I always say, if you find something you love to do, you never work a day in your life. And playing basketball was my, something that I loved. And, it was hard to transition out of something that you love. And I did. I transitioned to something, my second love, which was the Boys and Girls Club of Mount Vernon and helping young people, because that was the thing that happened to me as a little kid at the Boys Club, at the Boys and Girls Club. It happened to me. People gave to me. People sowed seeds and watered those seeds that somewhere down the road I began to grow. And that was, mostly what my book is really all about. From the Boys and Girls Club to the NBA, life on the narrow road is the many people, my family, my mom, the many people, my teachers, my coaches, who who kept me on that narrow road. And if you don't know what the narrow road is, there's a scripture in the Bible that says broad. Listen to this clearly. Broad is the road that leads to destruction, or the gate that leads to destruction, and many find it, right? But narrow or small is the gate that leads to life, and only a few find it. And, that was one of the titles of my book was The Narrow Road. And I'm truly thankful for all the people who helped keep me on that narrow road by their actual words, encouragement, by their prayers. They kept me on the narrow road. And so I transitioned from playing basketball to the Boys and Girls Club of Mount Vernon. and as the executive director, and somewhere down the line, the executive director of development. And I was in love with it. I loved it. I loved, um, you know, getting up every day. You didn't have to wake me up and get me up. I got up every day because I believed that God gave me this assignment. God gave me this purpose, and it was to help, just like I was helped. And then let me say this clearly: Mr. James Jones, who was one of my mentors at the Boys and Girls Club and my coach, and I remember making it to the when I made it to the NBA. And I was saying I got drafted in the NBA, and I said to Mr. Jones, I said, "Look, is there anything that I could do for you?" And he said, he said to me, "Look, hey, what I've done for you, you need to find somebody and do it for them." Right. And I realized that he wasn't just doing it for me, but there were many other young men and women that he had mentored as well. So, so that was my challenge. That was my assignment, to be able to give back like he gave back. So we're here tonight. um, we're about to get rolling on this celebration, season 2 celebration of the blueprint. And again, I gotta say thank you. Thank you to in my book. I've said earlier that Denzel and Pauletta were very instrumental in the naming of this and the whole process of what the blueprint is all about. Of course, Denzel said I was a seed, and when you drop that seed in the pond, you get a ripple effect, right? He said that we neither nobody knows when God brings us to earth, right? We are a seed, and as that seed begins to grow, it impacts something. So you never know who you will impact with your life. Don't Nobody out there should think they don't have a purpose, right? Everybody has a purpose, and so I'm about to drop my. This is my pebble, my seed. I'm about to drop it in the pond because I'm expecting the ripple effect. And we've been doing this for 2 years now, and I'm thankful. Yesterday or the day before, I went for a walk, and I was just walking, and it was a lady who lived in the projects, and in my at 70 West Third Street, and um, one of the few white ladies that was at the at the projects in Mount Vernon when I grew up. There was a lot before I moved into the projects, but most of them moved out, and there was one lady that moved in the projects, and she used to always speak to me all the time. And I was walking, and I was had left, come down Lincoln Avenue, turned down Columbus Avenue, and now I'm on Columbus Avenue preparing to go down Sanford Boulevard, when she got out of her car and she said, "Lowe's, is that you?" I was like, yeah, it's me. Tell your mom I said hello." And I was like, "Okay, you remember me, don't you?" I said, "Yeah, I do remember you from 70." And she said, "You know what? I love your show. I love the podcast. I mean, I love the blueprint. I watch it all the time." And I was like, "Wow." She said, I've been encouraged by watching it. So you just don't know what the ripple effect is going to be, right? And so that's why I'm on here, right? We on here so that we can have a ripple effect. I mean, a positive effect on people. And so let's move forward. Let's move forward. We got a lot to do in this celebration. And I'm going to be yapping for about 30 minutes here, to start out. And then we have some guests coming on. Uh, and we're going to show you just a few of the, how the blueprint started, and a couple of, interviews I did in the past. So, let, yeah, let me, let's go on and do it. I'm gonna start with my book of the week. Yeah, let's start with the book of the week. And I did this book before, but I just thought that this is one of an incredible book. It's called A Hand to Guide Me by Denzel Washington. And Denzel writes in this book, he takes 30 people that had been impacted by someone in the Boys and Girls Club. All of the 30 people or 32 people, they're presidents. I even think Phil Jackson is in there. There are a number of wonderful people that he had interviewed and in writing this book. And all of them had similar stories like him. For Denzel, he always talked about Billy Thomas and Mr. White. And Mr. White, you'll hear a little bit of that interview later, and how they encouraged him when he was a young man, how they mentored him when he was a young man. And many of the 32 or 33 stories in that book was about someone that touched their lives and guided them. And it's called A Hand to Guide Me. That's my book of the week. You ought to see if you can still get that book. It will be a great book to give a young person, an amazing book to give a young person, where they would see how important it is when to have parents and to have mentors in their lives. And so, transitioning to my word of the week, right, is mentor, right? Like I spoke about Mr. Jones, Denzel spoke about Billy Thomas, right? It's a mentor everybody should have a mentor, someone to inspire you, someone to motivate you, someone to push you. Uh, I've had teachers that push me. I was telling the kids at Career Day on Friday about Miss Sherman when I was in the fourth grade. Another white lady teacher, right? And I was struggling in school a little bit, so I was trying to look off somebody's paper to get an answer. I mean, I didn't tell you guys I was perfect, so I was trying to get the answer, and she recognized that I was trying to cheat, right? So she walks up to me, but she didn't embarrass me, and she bent over and she said, "Hey, Lowe's, look, whatever, you should never cheat, and you should never let anybody give you anything, right? Everything that you get, you should work for, right?" And it had to have an impact. Remember that seed, remember that pebble in the pond, remember that ripple effect. Here I am, 65 years old, and I still remember Miss Sherman, right? Yeah, so uh, this is awesome. So mentor, if you have an opportunity, and I know you have your own kids. I mean, it's tough. We all have our own kids, right? But there are a number of kids out there. There are a number of young people out there who have nobody, right? Or they have their parents, but it's single parent, right? Or they may be in foster care, right? Everybody needs a coach. Everybody needs a mentor. Everybody needs somebody to motivate them. And I hope that you would think about finding a kid and and getting involved in their lives to motivate them and to mentor them. Remember I said last week about youth development. If you take a caring adult and put them in the life of a child, you will change the life of that child. So I challenge you to be a mentor moving forward. So, and then here is our Hill Hopper, Pierce Hopper affirmation quote moment. I guess we're going to talk a lot about Denzel tonight. One of his famous statements and quotes. He says, "Do what you have to do. It's simple, so you can do what you want to do. Do what you have to do now, so you can do what you want to do later." Right, and of course, he's an example. If you put in the work, somewhere down the line, you're going to get the blessing, right? And you're going to find success. So that's my affirmation quote for this week. And then my music and movie, right? Now, You know, something that transcend time is Marvin Gaye, What's Going On. I mean, if there's an appropriate song for the day, it is definitely What's Going On. I mean, you, that that you listen to that and you would think that Marvin Gaye wrote that song for today, right? With all I'm asking myself every single day, what's going on, right? Because there's some crazy stuff going on today, stuff that I thought we should have transitioned out of, some things that should be over, right? Some things we shouldn't be dealing with today, but yet here we find ourselves still in the same old situation. And Marvin Gaye from the grave, right? His music has transcended time, transcended time, right? To bring us here today. What's going on, right? And then one of the all time in terms of African Americans, we didn't have a whole lot of heroes in the movie back in the day, and of course, this is a picture of the new Shaft, right? But we remember the old Shaft, which is in the back. He got the beard now, but Samuel Jackson and Richard Roundtree. Richard Roundtree was like one of our first black heroes. Man, that guy was cool. Man, Shaft was cool. Everybody wanted to be Shaft. Everybody wanted to put on the leather pants and the leather jacket, right? And everybody wanted to be cool, right? Back in the day. So, yeah, man, those that's my music and that's my movie for the week, for this week. And yeah, so let's move. Let's keep it rolling here. I think we're celebrating on the Blueprint this month. Uh, yes, I'm sure they're celebrating a lot of things during the month of June, as we will celebrate fathers during Father's Day that weekend. We're going to celebrate fathers, but I just thought it would be apropos to celebrate black men this month. And so many of my guests this month are going to be black men. I mean, I celebrated women's month. I just figured like, hey man, I think sometimes, you got to, got to motivate black men, right? You know, uh, Help them to feel like they're important because sometimes, we just get the feeling that we're just not important. Um, and of course, women are important, so men are important as well. So we're going to be celebrating this month. I got a few people, right? A few people I'm celebrating. Look, hey, all my guests are important. All my guests have been amazing, and everybody has a story. But Henry Hank Carter, man, don't miss next week, man, because when I tell you this, forget mentor, right? If there's ever been a mentor, he's the king, right? I mean, if there ever been a man that's been had humility and humble and doing God's work, man, Henry Hank Carter, man, we're gonna talk about him. We're gonna talk next week, man. This guy, man, I call him my mentor, right? And an example for the whole human race, right? If we had the spirit of Hank Carter, man, we wouldn't even talk about violence today. If we had his spirit, we wouldn't talk about anything but love and doing God's plan. So I'm looking forward to next week, and then following that, I got my good friend Morris Crute. We're going to be talking about a dream deferred. Don't miss that, man, because Morris and I talk a whole lot about, and I, man, I got nothing but good things to say, man, because he missed an opportunity as a young man, right? And he never neglects to talk to young people about his experience and some of the mistakes that he's made. Now he's gone on to be successful, right? Anyway, in spite of some things that happened in his past, but man, he is out there all the time trying to keep young people, help them avoid the pitfalls and obstacles that he came through, right? In the midst of being a nice guy. So I'm looking forward to having that conversation with him. And then finally, the last person this month is Mr. Billy Mitchell, right? Mr. Apollo. I think he's been at the Apollo Theater when the Apollo Theater was open. But if you ever been to the Apollo Theater and you had a tour, Mr. Mitchell would be the person who would have taken you on that tour. And man, he's a Mount Vernon alumni, right? Boys and Girls Club alumni, and he's the man at the Apollo Theater, and I'm looking forward to having a conversation. What an amazing guy, man! This month is going to be awesome. You guys are really in for a treat this month, and so uh, let's jump right into here. Right, we're gonna let me just show you something, man. We started the blueprint in June of 2021, right? Or 2020. And man, we I didn't know what I was doing. The gentleman who's going to be on a little bit later, he knew what he was doing. But check this out. This is our first a little clip of our first Blueprint podcast, episode number 1. We're on. Welcome to the Blueprint. This is Lowe's Moore, and I'm here this evening with my lovely wife, Patrice Wallace Moore, and this is the launch of the Blueprint podcast. Really excited. Never done this before, but hey, they said faith is risk. Sometimes you just got to take some risk. And so I'm excited to be on tonight. Looking forward to some exciting things coming up. And I want to welcome all of you to the Blueprint podcast today. And, I want to start off by, how did I arrive at this, coming up with this podcast? I want to talk to you a little bit about. I got. Oh man, I got to laugh because we didn't show you the we didn't show you the whole piece, but when we first started, um, the numbers, that countdown counted down like 3 times, right? It just kept repeating itself about 3 times, and then the intro that you heard when it first came on, it came on, but nobody could hear. I mean, I couldn't hear it. I mean, you couldn't hear it, and then we were just sitting there, man, because we couldn't hear it, and so we didn't know that the intro was over. So we were just sitting there. I said, "You heard me say, are we on?" And it took so long for us to come on. I had forgot what I was supposed to say, man. I was just kind of making stuff up as you go along, man. So I mean, we have come, my wife and I, we've come a long way from that first Blueprint podcast. Yeah, I'm laughing, but we and we got to move this along. But that was hilarious right there, man. That was too funny. But I just wanted to show you that how we started and where kind of where we are now. And I'm gonna turn it over to my wife for a moment. She's got a few questions for me.
Wow, what a great opportunity to be able to look back at where we've been, to see where we have come. I remember that first show quite well, and we were all sitting in here, and I had no clue anything about the technology of what this podcast was all about. But I can tell you, I sat there and I studied it, and I learned so much about the show. I remember when, and we'll talk about this later. When Rich came, he was putting stuff up, and I'm looking like a little kid, like, how do we get this? How do we do this? Because I want to go back to the statement that you said earlier with the woman that talked about cheating, and she said, at some point, learn how to do things for yourself. So
Mhm.
so you don't have to necessarily always depend. And so I'm so grateful because that's exactly what we did. So tell me, your vision. Talk to me a little bit about your vision. Why a podcast? Like, what really made you think about a podcast?
Well, it wasn't so much I was thinking about the podcast. Um, I was thinking about LPM communications.
Right.
That's what I was thinking about. That the two of us would be doing, because you were doing books, I was doing my book, you were doing books, and but yet you were still working,
Still working.
and I wasn't planning on not. Oh, I wasn't planning. It wasn't part of my plan to retire when I did. It's just something that kind of happened. But and it was, what was crazy was that I started to write down, thinking about the future, how long I was going to stay at the club, and what was I going to do, um, when I left the club. And because when I played basketball, that was one of the hardest things to do. When I finished playing basketball, I didn't know what to do. I was just totally confused, and many professional athletes and entertainers are so confused about, because they've been dancing, singing, or playing sports all their life, and all of a sudden one day, man, there's no more clapping and it's over. And I didn't know what to do. So at this time, I was like, man, trying to figure out, like, okay, what's how I'm going to land this plane. I didn't know how to land the plane from playing basketball, but I wanted to try to be better at landing the plane as I transitioned from the Boys and Girls Club. So I started writing all this stuff down. What did I have? What gifts did I have? And what things did I have? And so I started to write things down. Well, I graduated in communication. So I said, oh, I really love communicating. Right. So I like talking to people. I like telling stories. So I started thinking about motivation. Right. And I had already written my book. So I wanted to talk about the book and my experiences that I had in my life. And then I had been connected as a coach and a basketball player. So I thought I would be a good consultant around sports.
Mhm.
And then I've been 27 years in the Boys and Girls Club, and I learned a lot about the organizational structure, and I learned about uh, board development, resource development, human resource development, program development, social, the social media, all these things I've learned, and I felt like I could be an asset to somebody. So I started to think about LPM communication, which eventually ended up becoming Lowe's More Global Communication. And then inside of that was the podcast. And the podcast was the last thing I wrote on there. And when the pandemic hit, I was just thinking about motivational speaking and consulting. But when the pandemic hit, only thing I had available to me that I could do, that I could do in my house, because nobody was going out, was the podcast. And that's what I ended up focusing on.
So in 2 years, what I find fascinating is that there's only been one show missed in 2 years. That is fascinating. And every week there has pretty much been a different guest as well as pop on guests. How do you prepare for that every week?
Well, yeah, every week I try to be proactive and not wait in regards to you know, in terms of guests. You know, I started to think. I tried to make a list of potential guests, and as you make that list for potential guests, and I want to say when Steve comes on, I want to say thank you to Steve when he comes on, because when Steve came up with the idea, can we have somebody pop on, right? And it just added to the show when you pop on somebody and they get to ask somebody a question, or you can have a conversation with somebody. I remember real quickly. I remember the this young lady that works for my daughter Michelle's at the school, and Michelle said to me all the time that the teacher always asked her, "Nah, Denzel Washington's my favorite. You know, he's my favorite. I love Denzel. When am I going to meet him?" So forth and so on. And so,
I remember that
yeah,
show.
yeah. And then what ended up happening is that when we had Denzel on, right? We were able to get her on, and they just started having, it was an amazing show. She had a wonderful time. And you know what, Denzel's so good, he just engaged her, you know, and
Oh yes, he
that was,
did.
he just kept talking to her and stuff like that. And but for 2 or 3 years she had been talking about meeting, you know, her favorite actor. So yeah, that you know, those are always great things,
I
man.
have one more question, and then we can move on. Right? You've had a lot of uh, people with great names on the show, and then you've had some folks that maybe a lot of people don't know, but they've impacted. What and I also found out last that you got people asking, how come I haven't been on the show yet? That says a lot about really who you are and the message that you've been sharing. How do the people you've chosen impact the seven spheres?
Well, mostly everybody that comes on. If you don't know what the seven spheres of influence or the seven mountains, um, you know, uh, is the seven of them is, you know, like church or spiritual life or education, family, media, sports, arts, and entertainment, business and finance. You know, everybody's born with a gift. Everybody's born with a purpose, right? And you, as you see of the seven influences around the logo, I try to invite guests, right? I try to invite guests inside who has a gifting inside those one or more of those spheres, you know. And so when I invited Denzel, it was sports, arts, and entertainment, you know, and people when I invited Chris Broussard, he was dealing with sports, but media, you know, as well. And Felicia, you
Mhm.
know, she's dealing with what I consider dealing with family, when you're dealing with social work and psychology and all the, you know, the mental things that go. She was dealing with addiction and stuff like that. So I try to invite people in a sphere, right? Figure out how they started out in their life, their family, uh, their faith, their education, and how they entered into that sphere of influence.
Excellent. Well, as I know you're going to move on to other things, I'm very proud of you as your partner, as your wife,
And
um,
my executive producer.
and your EP, as they say. But truly, it's been a pleasure. Yeah, I'll be putting my bill in the mail. Um, but I'll take a kiss. That's good enough for
Okay,
me.
okay.
But I just really want to tell you that I'm extremely proud of you. I look forward to what year three, is going to bring for us, and maybe at some point, some people will sponsor, continue to sponsor us and take us to the next level. But one of my favorite shows, I thought the Ben Gordon show this year was phenomenal. The Ray Rice show was phenomenal. There was a lot of shows, but I was really blown away by Ben Gordon this year. I thought that it was a show that should be seen by many people over and over
Mm.
again. So, but there were a lot of great shows, but that one stood out really as a big marker for me based on everything that he had been through. So,
Yeah, and I loved all of them, but the one I used during Career Day, you see the book behind him. I use Zion, man. Zion's like my
your
my
hero.
hero.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love Zion, man. he's truly amazing, man. That guy right there, man. Um, yeah, he's just awesome, man. We're born with no, lower limbs, and man, he's the happiest guy you want to meet.
Mhm.
Right, I love that guy, man. So I talked to all the kids, and I showed some stuff on him from the blueprint at the career day, and but I enjoy hearing people talk about their life, and when they come on, everybody's, in my estimation, everybody's successful, right? And they found a way through adversity to find that success. And
Mhm.
and I hope that during the pandemic, right, during the pandemic, that the blueprint has encouraged someone in some kind of way to lift their spirits and find hope in the midst of that. So
You know what I also want to say? In the first show, we didn't have gear.
no, we had no
Oh
gear at
no,
all.
no, but we were in the blueprint hat. The blueprint. Thank you to United Cultures, David Drummond.
Yeah, David
He hooked
Drummond.
us up, with the gear. Yeah, we've got blueprint stuff, and it's pretty awesome. So you didn't. I don't remember you doing the book of the week, the word of the week, the affirmations at the very beginning. So you've really evolved into, providing. People are always looking at. I think my cousin Judy said, can he just do a listing of every book from the book of the weeks, because she's always fascinated by your books of the week. So at some point we might need to run a whole thing of all the books that you've done, and you read most of them, because that's
Yeah, you
you're
got to
Mr. Barnes and Noble. So
Yeah, and if I have to say, going into season 3, there are a lot of things that, and we'll talk a little bit later on the show, but like gear, blueprint gear in season 3. Look out for the blueprint gear in season 3. So, all right, and now I want to bring to the show. I think Richard Douglas is here. Rich Douglas is here, man. You on mute there.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. So if y'all don't remember, last year at this time, um, we had season 1 ended, and I had on Richard, because Richard was the one, right, who sowed the seed, right? Or he threw the pebble in the pond, and there was a ripple effect, right? Because Richard, we were at a marriage retreat, right? and Richard came over to me and said, "Man, you ought to have a blog, a podcast, man." I'm looking at him like, what is a blog and what is a podcast, right?
right.
And then when I retired and the pandemic hit, and I was thinking about what am I gonna do? And I pulled out my and everybody should have one of these. They should have a vision board, or they should write down their vision about what they want to do in the future. What do you want to do in the next 3 months, 6 months, a year, 5 years, 10 years from now? Well, you should have something written down. And unfortunately for me, when Rich sowed that seed, that was one of the things I wrote down on my vision board. And so when the pandemic hit, right, and I could do none of the other things, right, I was saying to my daughter, Michelle, what's that guy's name that was at the marriage retreat? He told me something about doing a podcast, right? Like that. I need to get in touch with him. And this is like 2 years later, right? It's like
Yep,
2 years later.
yep.
And I got in touch with Rich, right? And I was gonna do that little what Allen Houston was doing on the little Instagram. He said, "Nah, man, you're not doing that. You got to get a camera. You got to get a light. You got to get headphones and mics." So Rich, welcome back to the show.
Thank
Hey,
you.
Rich.
Mr. and Mrs. Moore, how y'all doing? Thank you for having me.
Oh yeah, it's my pleasure. I see you chilling outside right now.
Now I'm in my sunroom. Yeah, I'm in my sunroom.
Man, I got to get me one of those. I need a sunroom, and then you can take the glass out, and
Exactly.
it'll be a screen, so I won't get bit by no mosquitoes.
That's how it's done.
Our sunroom is when we open up the curtains in the living room.
Oh man.
Slides out, got the screen all set up, and got the breeze and everything all set up.
Oh man, you living the life.
Oh man, God is good. That's all I can say.
Yeah. So, hey, here's a quick question. So, when you said that, what you said at the retreat to me, what made you, you just came up to me out of nowhere. What made you come up and, you know,
It's the way you carried yourself, and I know other people like me could use somebody like you. You and your wife, what you had, and I saw, and I say, hey, you know what? Other people could need to see this. Plus, I know he can make some money.
well, I didn't make no money yet, but
It's
it's on
coming.
the way.
It's coming. It's
It's
coming.
coming.
It's coming. Yeah, it's the way. It's the way you both carried yourself. You carried yourself in such an upright way that I was like, man, I, sorry for the wrong words, but I was like, us young folks need somebody like that. That's what we need to, that's what we need to get when we get older. So that's what it was, and I was like, hey, you know what? I think that needs to get out. And your presence, as I said to you the other day, you have that presence. It's not like a networking presence. It's more of a personality presence that you get personal with everybody that you know.
Mm, I appreciate that, man.
Pleasure, my pleasure.
Yeah, yeah. And what are you doing with yourself? Right.
Well, right now, I'm just getting over a illness, and then I sent you a blueprint. I have a mobile technology center,
Oh yeah, I
yeah.
love that.
And then I was trying to purchase something, but I can't tell you what it is yet.
Okay, okay, okay. No, no, no. Because we remember when we had you on the show, we showed that technology bus.
Yes, yes,
Yeah, that thing is going to be amazing.
yes, sir.
Yeah, that bus is going to be awesome, man.
Thank
Where kids can come onto the bus, and learn about technology, man, and use it in the proper way.
I can
And
tell you, Rich, that you started something, but I don't necessarily know that you realize that you created a monster, right? Because I never forget that day we were in there trying to figure out how come the numbers keep going down and we don't see anything, and we were all like stressed out in here, sweat pouring off of our heads, trying to figure it all out. It was June, and
uh-huh.
the camera was here and the lights, which we still have.
Yeah, man, you didn't even come back and get your camera and lights, man.
But that's all right. They now belong to us. It's called
There you go.
easement rights.
There you go. There
You
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 go.
you sowed that seed.
But I bought more, so I got more cameras. So right now I'm on one camera right here, and he's on another camera right over there. We got the lights all in the room. And his man cave is now the studio.
Oh,
But thank you, because you lit a fire that turned into an explosion. And sometimes all it takes is it takes I say to Lowe's all the time that there are some people that have visions that do nothing with it. And there's
oh.
some people that, the Bible says, write the vision and make it plain, right? And
Mhm.
so he did that. And, I always tell Lowe's that I know, you attended a Fresh Start with Pastor Morris. But,
Mhm.
one of the things that I've always loved about him was that he's a visionary that does stuff. Like
Oh
he
yeah.
doesn't just think about stuff and write stuff down. He makes you do what you think about. And so to me, when I saw you pushing Lowe's, I saw everything, like when Pastor Morris does that, like that's who he is. And so
Yeah.
I always commend, I tell him to his face, his wife to their face, that what I always loved about them is that when they think about something, you're in trouble. Once they think about it, they put it on paper and then they make you do it. They're like, did you do that yet? Did you do that? Well, when are you gonna do that? Like and I thought that's how he gave that to you, so that into you passed that on to Lowe's. And
Yeah.
so thank you.
Nice. Oh, but now, but remember, as soon as I said something, I didn't have to say it twice. Next thing you know, Amazon was at your front door with it.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I
Yes,
looked
sir.
up, man. I'm like, what is going on? The mics are coming in and all kind of stuff like that, man. We was getting rolling,
Exactly.
and we was trying to figure it out.
Yeah. Oh God, yes, we were trying to figure it out.
And I took it to my church. So what we did here, I actually then, did at the church. So the church has the Zoom and it has all the technology, and another church, I do a whole nother church. One of the pastors, elders, he comes to our basement every Saturday, and I set up a whole studio for him, and he plays music for another church out of our basement on their Zoom. So you started this one thing, but it fed ministry. It didn't just do the blueprint. It fed ministries.
Yes.
Two ministries flourished because of what you gave and you sowed into us. So
Wow.
thank you.
Awesome.
Thank
Yeah.
you. Thank you.
And you helped me out in the beginning too,
Oh yeah, we help
because you said, well, what is it that you want to do? And you gave me, and I said, well, send me a list, right? So you asked me what I wanted in the introduction, what I want in the outro. You started, okay, what's the purpose of this? And I had to write those things. I had to fill in those things and tweak those things and until I got them right. And I'm gonna need your help because I want to do another. I want to do another intro outro.
Okay, that's not a
Right?
problem.
I'm thinking about another song so that as we go into transition to season 3,
Yes.
get something fresh.
Yes.
Get something fresh and something new.
Yes.
So I want to really say thank you, man.
Pleasure.
You
Thank you.
know, hey, you will always be in our heart, man. And the thing is, I'm looking forward to the technology bus, man. I don't know how I'm gonna help, but I'm gonna help.
Oh, trust me, you're gonna help. We already got plans. I just got a message on. I'm looking at comments, and somebody said, "Tell him." So I got to clarify before I tell you.
Okay.
So
Okay. No. Yeah. You said you're gonna clarify it?
yeah, I got to clarify. I'm waiting for her to tell me what I can tell you.
Oh, okay. Oh, I see Marsha on here. She said, "Laugh out loud." Tell him.
Once you
Yeah.
give me permission, then I'm gonna tell you. And
Okay.
Well,
Okay.
if she said tell him, that means she gave you permission right there.
you know what she's talking about.
Hey, she was at the house
Yesterday.
yesterday. She was here.
She told me. Yep, she told me. So,
Yeah.
she told me. So as soon as she clarifies what it is, man, it's huge.
Okay.
Look
Okay.
at this.
Oh,
You got a thumbs up.
Yeah.
You've been released.
Marsha, is it okay? You gave me a thumbs up.
Well, we can talk offline, man. We'll do it. Yeah,
Man,
we'll do it.
Marsha and myself, we're trying to buy the ABA league.
Oh, okay.
So
Yeah, she had mentioned that to me. Yeah.
listen, I got to make sure.
Yeah, she was mentioning that to me.
Yeah.
All right.
So you're our number one board member. President.
Woo! Board members get paid.
Listen, we're trying to.
That's what my wife is gonna ask me first when I get off. You gonna get paid?
I know Miss Pat gonna be like, that's nice and all, but
we got to eat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, Rich, thanks, man. Enjoy outside. I'm gonna get me one of those.
Cool. You too.
and we'll be talking this week, man.
All right, brother.
Yeah.
I love you, Miss Pat, Miss Moore. Thank you so much.
Love you.
God bless you, man.
Bye-bye.
All right. Thanks a lot. Yeah. Rich Douglas. He started all this, and then, Rich was transitioning from one career, one position to another position. And he came to me and he said, "Hey, Lowe's, I'm not going to be able to do the show anymore." Right. And just show you how good God is. Right. I had been working with the Boys and Girls Club, and I had met a gentleman and been on this show here, what we call the Chapters Rap back then, and I'd been on a number of his shows. He brought his radio show to the Boys and Girls Club. He had kids interview on his radio show, getting them some experiences. He actually put the spoken word on his radio show. He came all the way down with all the equipment and stuff like that, and take the kids and stuff. And I get a call from Steve Vicaro, just when Rich was telling me he's not going to be able to do the show anymore. And we didn't know anything about doing the show. And And Steve called me and said, "Hey, Lowe's, I heard you doing a podcast. I want to help you out." And then we transitioned from one Sunday to the next Sunday, and we were on board. And Steve's out.
Are we on? Are we
yeah,
on?
yeah, we on.
Are you sure? Okay. Hold on. I don't have a sunroom. I don't have a screen room, but I got bug spray. You gotta do what you gotta do, right?
Yeah, you do. If you're gonna be outside, you better have some spray.
That's right. First of all, I love both of you. Patrice, I got you flowers. I'll give it to you one day for 2 years. And Lowe's, I got you a little trophy.
Oh.
I can't believe it's been 2 years.
Yes, 2 years. I
God
mean,
bless.
it runs up on you too. Teresa, in a couple of weeks, man, it's gonna be the end of your second season. I'm like, what? I hadn't even thought about it. Now you're starting to think about, okay, how are we going to celebrate this? How are we going to do this? And you started running, man, just trying to do stuff, boy. And, of course, you guys helped me get rolling. So you always invited when we do our celebrations, man, each and every year, man. It's going to be awesome.
It's funny when I was watching your clip from your first show, it looks like both of you are ready to fly a plane. You're sitting there with everything ready to go, and you look at each other. I'm not the co-pilot. You're not the co. What's going on here?
Well, first of all, I had on a blue jacket, but we didn't understand about green screens or anything like that. So therefore, my jacket looked black, but it was really blue because it faded in. And I was like, why do I got a black jacket on? It was hilarious. We learned so much about like what colors you're supposed to wear and not wear and all that kind of stuff. So
yeah,
you guys do an unbelievable job, and I love what you said, Patrice, that you brought Rich brought in 2 ministries from the seed that you guys planted, and you never know where these things go. There's a statistic out there that says that people that started podcasts 2 years ago, they only did 8 shows or 8 podcasts, and then they gave up, they quit, they were frustrated. But you guys persevered for 2 years. You bring on unbelievable guests, hour-and-a-half show on every Sunday. It's like a family time. It's like you're sitting down. I won't call it Lowe's Man Cave, but in your living room. It's a conversation that you have that you feel like you're a part of, and you really get to the heart of the matter on each person that you interview. It's amazing. It's beautiful.
Well, I appreciate that, Steve. And again, I didn't know how it was going to work. I had no idea if I had any, because it could be terrible. You could be terrible at it, and then you have to, it's like saying you want to play basketball, right? I can play. That's what I used to get from kids all the time, right? Can you play? Okay, let's go in the gym. And you go in the gym and they kicking the ball around. I'm like, no, we playing basketball. You're not doing soccer. So you don't know, when you take the risk to do something, whether or not you're going to be good at it.
Right.
But I would also say, if I can say, Steve, what was really helpful too is, what you did, but I think Carmine and
Anthony,
and yep. It was crazy because I had no clue what they were doing. Until I had to do it.
Right.
I said to Lowe's, you better stop sending me all these pictures. It's like, I can understand why Carmine and Anthony was stressed out. You tell them that I love them. Thank you. I get it now. I get it. I didn't understand until now. I would look up, I was like, Lowe's, you sent me 30 pictures. Like, dude, I got to put those pictures up. So he learned. I said, listen, you give a man a fish, he'll eat for a day.
That's
right. You teach him to fish, he'll eat for a lifetime, right? So I said, you need to learn how to start making collages. Because I can't. So here we go. He makes collages now. So collages go like this. They look like this. Oh,
there you go.
So usually what he would have done 2 years ago is each one of these would have been they would have been one picture. And I would have been sweating trying to put these pictures up. I'm like, dude, learn how to do a collage.
Well, that is great. I mean, the work that you guys are doing together collaboratively, the collages, the pictures, the interviews, it's great. I know you talked about Marvin Gaye earlier, And I've been doing my thing media wise for 9 years, but unfortunately during that time, there's been all these mass killings in the 9 years. And I always, when I bring light to it, when I provide a platform for people to talk about gun control or mental health issues or whatever needs to be talked about, because we are struggling as a nation regarding this, I always play a song. It's called Missing You by Diana Ross. And if you hear the song, the lyrics, if you know the story of the song, Diana Ross wrote that for Marvin Gaye, her friend, when he passed away at 44 years. She wrote that song specifically for Marvin Gaye. And the song, I think, is an underrated song, but it really captures the heart and soul and the passion when you lose someone abruptly. And I think that was a tribute to Marvin Gaye. So it was nice to hear that when you brought that up. And you brought the Apollo Theater. One of my greatest concerts ever was at the Apollo Theater. I saw Kool and the Gang, Lisa and the Cult Jam, and Stephanie Mills all in one show.
Yeah.
It was a great show. What you do, both of you, is bring people together. It's not about color. It's not about race. It's not about where we live or backgrounds or religion. We're in a world right now, it's unknown to us, and we have to continue to have shows like what you guys are doing, because at the minute we stop, that's another step in the wrong direction that we make. And that's how I feel. That's why I continue to do what I do.
Yeah.
But we've also found out, and Lowe's has really more so, that a lot of people are looking at the shows after. Right. And so it may get like 200 views today, and then he'll check it out on Wednesday and it had like 900 views or 1,000 views, and it keeps running because they stay on the YouTube page. Because now, when we first started, it was just Facebook. So now it's Facebook and YouTube, and it's going on both pages, and people are getting an opportunity to take a look at them and share them. But what we've also been able to do is to talk about the mental health issues. Addiction, talking about I think Hill Harper came and talked about finance, the wealth transfer, and
crypto,
different, so there were different. The topics have been so vast, and sometimes we argue. Right, because I'll say I want this person, and he'll go, I want that person. The Lord didn't tell me to take that person, And so I walk away, and I'm mad, and then he'll go and and so But that's what I think that happens in the real world when people are doing shows anyway. So and then we eventually find the common ground, and sometimes we're thinking the same person. We're like, you thought about that person? I thought about that person. So sometimes we're on the same page, but we're a team. So.
That's right.
That's right. What I have to say, I have to also say thank you to our son, because when we transitioned to taking it over, our son was the one. Because sometimes you got to go to the kids. Because you don't know what you're doing. So
that's why I had Carmine, Anthony, and 10 other people.
So we called our son, and Lozy was like, "This is what you got to do," because he was doing a lot of the civil rights. He was doing podcasts for the civil rights movement after the George Floyd, social justice, stuff like that. And so we called him up, and he said, "Okay, this is what you do." And, and this is what he said: "I'm going to show you how to do it, because I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it for you. So I'm going to show." So he taught me how to fish, so that he could go back and live his life. But when I'm not available, he always finds a way to show up to help his dad. Wow. So he is an amazing son. And so I want to shout out Louis Moore III.
You have such a beautiful family, and I love the relationship I have with Lowe's and your family, because it really started at the Boys and Girls Club in Mount Vernon. And
that's right.
And from there, many, many years ago, who knew what was going to unfold? And I'm just so thankful, because Lowe's, that you've come to a number of my fundraisers, supporting every different effort that I put on there, because it's about paying it forward. It's about giving it back. And even you talked about Denzel Washington. I mean, when you had that opportunity, you offered me a spot on that show, and you offered me 20 minutes, believe it or not, in that show. And you could have ran with that in a different way. And in that 20 minutes, I was able to bring other people on that really wanted to connect with Denzel. And there's only a couple of names in this world. You just have to say their first name. You know who you're talking about. And that's Denzel is one of those people. And that was one of the brightest moments of my career, to have that opportunity. But even more important, it just shows the character in both of you to offer that to someone like myself. And I've always been humbled by that. And I love you guys. I'm so happy that 2 years have gone by, and now the third year and is on your way and to bigger and better things. God give us many, many blessings, and this is one of them.
But when we started, we had one granddaughter. We have 4 grandchildren now.
Wow.
So we're excited.
Yeah, and our youngest daughter is getting married this week. So Sherelle, she's getting married this week. So we get gearing up for that. And before you get off, Steve, let me say this, man. You have a wonderful heart, man. Because when you think of what Steve Vicaro is doing with the Chapters Network, it's not about making money, although you need resources to do what you do. But you have been a blessing to so many people. I mean, you didn't have to come to the Boys and Girls Club and do what you did and give those young people the opportunity. And then on the Chapters Rap, you have given so many people, including myself, an opportunity, kids with disabilities, right? Veterans. I mean, the list goes on and on, what you're doing in Long Island, and now from Long Island over into Tampa, and just growing. And I think people should check you out, man, without a doubt, man. Check out the Chapters Rap, right, with Steve Vicaro.
I appreciate that. Last year, before I go real quick, I did an interview with somebody from Canada. You say pebble and a stone and throw. This represents a symbol. It's a rock, if you see it. And basically it's what this symbolizes is this is the person, and these slates either go up or down. And when it's laid flat on the ground like this, we always have to remember to go up. And so I keep this on my desk and not to go down. So I keep this on my desk because we're always in that progression of going up and reaching that level that God wants us to be, because ultimately that's what we're doing this for, is for God's work and calling. So I just wanted to show that. And again, thank you so very much for giving me a few moments to share some laughs and thoughts, and the work that you do. God bless both of you. And
when is the Chapters Rap show?
Tell us when.
We have a network of shows, and 80% of our staff, we have a nonprofit called Chapters Community Support Services. And basically, I'm a psychologist, but 80% of our staff have some form of disability or going through transition and adversity. So we have 15 shows. So if you check out chaptersnetwork.org, you will find all the shows and all the fundraisers and all the things that we're involved with. And be a blessing to cross paths again and to work collaboratively. But I'm a big fan. I'm always watching, and I love. There you go, chaptersnetwork.org. Thank you, Patrice. I'm just a big fan, and I keep sharing your show, and it's a blessing. And you know what? We even talk basketball. I mean, this is what it's about. I mean, sometimes you don't talk sports. Sometimes you talk real life stuff. So God bless the both of you.
Oh, thanks, Steve. I appreciate you, man. Thanks a lot, man.
All right. Have a great night.
All right. You too. Bye-bye. Steve Vicaro, the Chapters Network, the Chapters Rap, right? I love that guy. He's amazing, man. He does some amazing, it's tireless. I mean, he doesn't get tired doing it.
It has high energy.
Yeah.
But you can't do what he does without energy. Could you imagine? Well, ladies and gentlemen, I just
he does. He does good. He does it good. We get anybody else on there?
Not yet.
Oh, okay. So
let me show you. We got a video.
Yeah, we got a video.
So
we're gonna show you one of our shows. Yeah, a little thing from one of our shows. And then we both, one of the. We both had these special gifts that God gave us. Mine in the area of sports, yours in the area of entertainment and acting, right? So we have these things in common, and we use those gifts to make a splash in the world. And before I get, just started throwing you in here, right? There's a couple of things
over the last 2 weeks, I've introduced what I call the book of the week. Right. Last 2 weeks, the first week was the Bible. I mean, the Bible has to be the first book. I mean, because almost 5 billion copies sold, has to be something good in it. Right. So that was my first book. And then last week, I introduced TD Jake's book called Instinct.
Okay.
Right. And so this week, our book of the week is Denzel Washington. Yes. A hand to guide me.
Okay.
Yeah, you like that? That's right there. That's awesome right there. So you want to tell us a little bit about the book? It was on the New York Times bestseller.
Man, I don't even remember. But here's what I do remember, just to fill in. What was the name of the park across the street from 230? The
7th Avenue.
7th Avenue Park.
Yeah.
I remember you being about 13 or 14, or maybe even younger, playing with the bigger guys. And I remember the talk about you, like the buzz was starting to get around. I remember you going up and pinning somebody's shot. I think those were the backboards with the holes in them. Was it the green backboard with the holes in it? Right.
Yeah, get your finger stuck in them.
Yeah, right. Yeah, well, you got your finger stuck in them because you could jump high enough. I didn't get my finger stuck in them. But I remember you pinning somebody on the board. I was like, oh, this is young boy, he can go. I remember that you didn't seem to be afraid of the older guys, that you fit right in, that you had a smooth game. And I just remember that. I remember that as well as I remember the book. A hand to guide me, as we've all had people in our lives, and you and I in particular, people like Billy Thomas and Charles White and all the guys that led us at the club, and lessons that we learned and that that I, speaking for myself, can continue to use. I don't know if I mentioned it in the book, but I remember the mayor of Mount Vernon came to the club and spoke, and he asked, did anybody have questions? And I asked a question, then I asked another, then I asked another. And we kind of, the way I remember it, the way I'm telling the story, we had a little debate. We had a little debate. And I remember when I was leaving, Charles White said to me, he said, boy, with your smarts, you could be anything you want to be. And I remember leaving and thinking about that. And I'm thinking like, I could be a fireman or the president or whatever. But to use your word, that seed that he planted in my mind at that time, I never forgot. And the seeds that, as the book talks about, the seeds that many people have planted, and not just my life, but obviously your life, that without watering will not grow. But just to get that kind of positive reinforcement at such a young age, I never forgot it.
Yeah.
Awesome, man. Yeah, that's one of the shows from the past. Yeah, you've seen our first show, so we've come a long way since that first show.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, and we keep getting better and better each.
And what was so cool about that was Denzel asked you. You didn't have to ask Denzel to be on your show. He asked you if he could be on.
Yeah,
man, that just shows his humility and who he is. And it was such an amazing show, and it just so many people were on it. If you haven't seen it, look on the Losmore the Blueprint page, and I'm sure at some point you'll
you have to scroll down and find it,
because I believe that was in 2020. I think June or August 2020. I think is when it was.
Yeah, it was August 2020. And the thing is, we was just talking and stuff like that. Hey, what you doing? I started a podcast. Man, I'm gonna come on. I was like, okay, when? Yeah. That was the first thing. When? Like, oh, let me see, August. I was like, okay, cool. So we set it all up, and of course he jumped on, which is exciting, man. I mean, to have Denzel come on and so many others. I mean, that I have to say this about people, because I enjoy doing this, but what I've learned is very, very valuable. Some of the life stories of people, because sometimes we just assume that, you know, people woke up and they had a silver spoon in their mouth and, everything went right for them, man. But what I've learned over these last 2 years is that, people come from, meager beginnings. Many people have come from meager beginnings. They've come from, you know, tough times to find their way to success. They've come through early childhood tragedy, right, and trauma to become successful. And that's, I learned, and to get people to hear it and see it, and people to speak about it. Hopefully, it's encouraging to them to say, "Hey, man, if that person can come from this place and become successful, then I can do the same." I mean, that's the whole importance and power of the blueprint. Um, is that you can start to begin to create your own blueprint, your own vision, starting with the dream, right? And I think it was Denzel always says, "Man, yeah, you have a dream, but how do you take that dream, and how do you take that dream and put it into action, right?" And everybody knows. I used to always talk to the kids at the Boys and Girls Club, right? And I used to shake their hand, right? And I would say, when I shake their hand and give them a hug as they walked in the club, man, I used to say, um, "What's your plan?" Right? And they look at me, "Hey, Mr. Moore, yeah, my plan, okay, you know." And uh, and all of a sudden, one day, one of the kids said, "Mr. Moore, why you keep asking me what's my plan?" I said, "Because I know you don't have one." Right? I said, "Come in the office for a second." I took him in the office. I said, "Man, you got to figure out what it is that you want to do with your life. And you got to figure, I know you want to play basketball. I know you want to do all these things, but we need to talk about how you develop that plan to at least give yourself an opportunity, to fulfill whatever dream and desire you're trying to accomplish." So yeah, I mean, that's, and you know what the crazy thing was? We create we talked about his plan. We looked at where he was academically, and he came from, I mean, tough background, man. I mean, living in his household was a struggle, right? It was nothing good happening on that.
Wow, Wayne Johnson.
And what ended up happening? It ended up happening is that, without we talked about his plan, and we knew he needed to get a GED, right? And we didn't tell anybody about it. We just said, "Okay, man, this is what you have to do if you want to get here," right? And so what ended up happening is that he, unbeknownst to me, he ended up going quietly, taking the GED a couple of times, and he ended up passing the GED, right? And then from there started his career. Man, I was just so proud of him, right? That he created a plan and followed through on it. Yeah. So, uh-oh. Well, look like we got a surprise guest here. Uh-oh. Oh gosh. Don't mess up. Uh-oh. Oh. Oh. Okay. I got a surprise guest on the celebration, all the way from California.
How do I do this, Mom?
You taught her how to do it, now you don't know.
It's not happening.
Wayne Johnson, man. What's up, Wayne?
There it goes. I'm not Wayne.
Nah, right down there it says Wayne Johnson, boy.
Okay, now I can get.
Yeah. Losey all the way in from California, back home.
What's up?
Hey, and this person over here, she's right here. I don't know if you can see her. That's Sherelle. That's my youngest daughter. She's getting married on Thursday. And Losey's in for the wedding, and he's gonna be spending a whole bunch of bunch of time together. What's up, Losey?
Nothing much. Just wanted to pop on and say congratulations.
Oh, thanks.
Congratulations! 2 years in a row.
We got Wayne and Vinny.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But didn't want to hold you. I just wanted to come down and show you some love.
Show me some of you. You got to get off mute. You on?
Oh.
Get on your own sound.
So.
Huh?
Loris. Don't go. So yeah. All right, I'll let you get back to it.
All right, let me get back to it. Yeah, this is good. Surprised Losey came in here, just good. That's awesome. Yeah, we're gonna have some fun this week. I don't know about y'all. Look, I'm gonna be celebrating. Right, I'm gonna be celebrating this week as the wedding is on Thursday. We're gonna be celebrating, having a good time. There's gonna be so many family members in, man, and we staying safe, man. I'm masked up, shoot, all the time. Nothing's gonna keep me from going down the aisle, walking Sherelle down the aisle. It's gonna be nice. Talent, what's up, man?
What's up, boss man? How are you? Congratulations.
Oh man, thanks, man. Hey, everything's good, man. No complaints.
Hey man, I
yeah.
rushed off and ended my show early to make sure I didn't miss this.
Well, I appreciate you, man. And let me say this. Our birthdays around the same time. So mine's May 5th and yours is May
9th. Yeah.
May 9th, man. Next time we got to celebrate together. But we did come to the comedy show. And let me say this. Huh? Let me say this.
Yeah.
When you sent me the thing, I told Treese, I was like, man, can we go support talent? And she was like, yeah, we can go support talent. And I was like, man, let me say this. I never laughed. Man, I laughed so hard, man. You know, that whatever stress or anxiety I had was gone when I left there.
Hey, that's the whole point, brother. The whole point is when you get done doing what we're doing, is another, type of. It's funny because I'm leaving a minister's birthday party up here in Springfield, Mass. Pastor E, and when we do that, man, healing is healing, bro. So
That's right.
You should definitely go way more blessed by levity way out of that, or it wasn't a good comedy show. When you laugh hard like that, you had a great time.
Yeah, I did. I was crying and everything, man. Those are happy tears.
Dee Dee said, "I'm going next time."
Yeah, and I apologize to my sister-in-law down there. She was like, you and Treese went to talent, and you didn't take me and Calvin with you." Oh man, we weren't even thinking, man. We just like, yo, let's go, So yeah, we had to come and support you.
It was a great time. Man. I was very happy. You're one of those guys, man. This is why certain people you got to make things happen for. When you call, there's a whole host of us that grew up that we got to make it happen for Lowe's. Lowe's call, I don't care what it is, when it is. We're going to try to bend the moon, the stars, and everything to make that happen, bro. So, ditto, man. Appreciate you, brother. Glad you had a good one.
I appreciate you, too. And so you on your way back home? You on your way back home?
Probably didn't hear you.
It's cutting it. It's cut. Yeah. Signal bad. I'm almost.
Yeah. You on your way back home?
No, the hotel. We're right here by Basketball Hall of Fame.
Oh yeah, man. I can't go to Springfield without stopping in the Basketball Hall of Fame. Probably been in there 10 times.
I'm in the same parking lot. Lowe's my hotel.
Yeah, it's amazing in there now, man. During the pandemic, I went during the pandemic. Yeah, wasn't nobody in there but me.
I'm just saying, we still in the pandemic.
I'm talking about in the heat of it.
Yeah.
Sherelle had that interview with
UMass,
and she went to the interview. I dropped her off there and went straight to the Hall of Fame. I was the only dude up in there. Everybody just paid me. Everybody's like, "You want to go here? You want this? You want some popcorn?" I'm like,
you had it to yourself, man. You had it to yourself, man. It's only right.
Yeah. And I think this year I'm going to actually go to one of the my former teammate and coach at West Virginia University, Bobby Huggins, just got inducted into the Basketball Hall of Fame.
Oh,
So I
nice.
got to make it up there to see him.
When is it going to be? What month is that?
I think it's going to be, I don't know, something.
I
It
got.
ain't this year. It's got to be like early next year.
Okay. Yeah, I want
Yeah.
to make one, man. That's history, bro. That's historical right there. So I
Yeah.
belong in there. So it's all good for you. You know,
Yeah, but he had to do something because he wasn't getting that as a player, man. But it's all good.
Bobby gonna get you.
Yeah, he's gonna get me. He said, "Look, I'm not gonna get in West Virginia Hall of Fame as a player, but I'm gonna get in there as a coach."
Larry, man.
Oh man,
I wish you many more years of this. I told you the first time I came on, man, that your voice on this is well needed, is well instructed, and people always walk away with some jewels and tidbits, and that's what life is really about, man. Those of us who can share, we share, and people walk away with jewels. You'd be surprised. You already know, but you don't know how many lives you touch and continue to touch. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I'm proud of you, bro. I'm proud to know you.
Thanks a lot, man. I'm proud to know you too, man. All right, man. Thanks a lot for popping on, man.
You already know many more, Los.
Yes, sir. All right. Hey, that's my man, Talent. If you don't know Talent, he's the comedian,
Yes, he's hilarious.
Yeah, he's hilarious.
I remember when the Boys and Girls Club used to have their annual events, and Talent and JB were like the co-MCs. And nothing, you cannot sit in the front row when you got two comedians hosting, because you are a target. You are a target. You can be assured of that. And my dad used to come. He had these big old ties on, and they used to eat my dad up. I'm a daddy's girl, so I used to get upset. I was like, they talking about my daddy and stuff, But he would coming in with that big old tie, and all them colors on it, and they would get my dad big time, and I would holler up a storm. Here's another one that like to tell
JB,
jokes.
what's up, man? Oh, we got Caesar in the house.
I'm not gonna make y'all get on one knee.
Hold on, I'm gonna bow down. Hold on, let me bow down. Yo, oh man, thanks for popping on, man.
Yeah, I just made it. Let me tell you something. I just came across the Brooklyn Bridge. I was breaking the law. I think I might have broken the law.
Oh, so you at home, man? How's mom doing?
She was good, man. That's why I was there all day today. Well, most of the day today. Taking care of some things for her and going to see her. And I left out of there with just enough time to get back to Brooklyn. I didn't want to do it from the phone. You know how it is, man. You try to do it from the phone, pull over, and
Well, you see what Talent was doing. He was on.
Yeah, I'll make it. I just ran through the garage, hopped on the elevator.
Yeah. Oh man, Lozy was just here. He just sat down a minute ago.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he came home. Sherelle's getting married on Thursday.
Oh my gosh, man. Woo, man.
Yes. So he came home for the wedding. He's gonna be here for a few weeks.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, man. How's everything going? What you doing, man? You busy, man? I can't turn my TV on without seeing JB, man. I'm just like, there go JB again.
We already talked about that, man. I just planted a whole lot of seeds, man. I'm like a gardener, man. I planted all these little seeds, man. So I'm just allowing them to grow, man. And I get a chance to watch them grow, man. And just it seems like I'm everywhere, but when you plant them seeds, man, they all start to grow one at a time. It just seems like I'm everywhere because they're all just in a row. They're all just on their own pace, And I just finished doing a new series that's going to be on Netflix called Blockbuster. It's about the last blockbuster. Really, really fun. You guys remember them days going to Blockbuster, man?
Yeah, man. Yes. All the way to the Bronx.
There was something real cool about walking through those aisles, man, looking for a movie that's totally different from streaming services, you know, Netflix and all this stuff, and Amazon and Hulu. But it was something real genuine about walking through those aisles, man, grabbing the microwavable popcorn.
Yes, exactly.
You know what I'm saying? And
yeah.
You pick up the box and look at the box like, man, I don't know about this one. What do you think about this one, baby? Hey, baby, how about this one right here? You know, it's something cool about it. And getting home and hoping your movie's good because, you know, you picked this movie. You know, something cool about that, man.
Yeah. You better go in there and know what movie you want to watch.
Yeah, the show is really good though. We shot in Vancouver, so the only thing about Vancouver is it just rained every day. You know, anything on that little run, that little Portland, Seattle, Vancouver.
Yeah.
Country, it rained sideways. It rained
Hey, we went.
It just rained every day, man. I couldn't believe it.
We went to Ireland. That's why it's so green, man.
Yeah.
That's why it's so pretty over there. You know?
Yeah, man. We were in Ireland, right?
Yeah.
And we just walking, or we doing a basketball camp out there, and man, we were just Teresa and I was outside, she was inside, but every 30 seconds it would just start raining for no reason. I mean, like, what? Now you got to run inside, wait till the court dry, go back out. I mean, come on.
Definitely.
Yeah, that was crazy.
It's just like that. It's just like that.
But you also have to, because it's also in that area, because in Ireland it was like midnight and it was light outside.
Yeah.
So we were jacked up because we was like, we were still walking around. I said, babe, it's 12 o'clock. We gotta go to bed. I'm like,
and you know what? I think some people, they didn't even have front yards. They just paved it.
Yeah.
So it won't grow no grass.
Right. Oh gosh, man. But it's busy work, man. But you know, Linda and myself, of course, we can have our podcast also. You know, may I elaborate tomorrow? I'm back on. We are shooting tomorrow. I think tomorrow we're gonna have who we had. We just had Little Rel. We had Tiffany. We had Little Rel, Tiffany. We had Kevin Nealon. We had some great ones in a row, man. You know, and the last one with Little Rel was really good, man. Yeah, it was really good, man. We got one tomorrow to record tomorrow, and then I got to do I'm doing a new video game. Don't ask the name of it, because I forgot the name of it already. But I'm doing another video game recording tomorrow. So I got a lot of little things going on, man. You know, it's good to be busy, man. So
no, well, we both proud of you, man.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, man. We
all the time.
Yeah, we talk about you all the time.
To tell you, last time I saw you, I'm at the hospital, right? He's in front of me, but he got all kinds of stuff on because he didn't want nobody to recognize him, right? You know, but when I was behind him, right, I recognized his head, right? Just the shape of his head. I didn't see the front of him. I just saw the body and the shape of his head. I go, yo. So I didn't call him JB because everybody called me. I said, Jerry. And he turned around like, somebody called me by my name.
Somebody call you Jerry. He called me two people.
I said, Jerry.
Or a bill collector. I said, MX. I said, MX. He
turned around and looked at me. I was like, yo. And then Shaw came in behind me. So he was in front and Shaw was behind. You know, I was
man.
Yo, man, it's crazy because you never know when you're gonna see somebody, right?
That's right.
You never know. But
how's Shaw doing, man?
She's doing great, man. She's doing great. You know, when I was in Vancouver, you know, they had the big Netflix as a Joke festival in LA. So I'm stuck in a rainy Vancouver working, and she went to a bunch of the cool events. I'm sitting here like, I'm missing all the good events, man. What I missed today, you know. And then and now I'm here. She was here for a minute, then she went back. So we just you know, she went to a ladies event, I think yesterday.
Okay.
Yeah, something really cool. It was like a brunch, fashion show brunch charity event.
Really, really, really great event. She said a lot of great people were there. Um, and a lot of great women who are doing some amazing things, man. And yeah, she got a chance to go to that yesterday, and she said it was really awesome, really a great time.
Yeah, man.
Well, we appreciate you. You know, this is like the third time because we had him for a whole show.
Yeah.
Right. But if I'm not mistaken, when we had you on that show, like you had like was it a blackout? Like at the end of the show,
I don't know.
was it like we were in the show like at the end of the show, like we were going good, and all of a sudden
He said,
it would bloop, and you were like there was like a storm or something out
Man.
there.
Oh,
They
yeah.
never a storm. There was never a storm, but all of a sudden there was a storm and everything went out. We thought the show we thought that Carmine was like, all right, that's enough. And
he just cut us off.
But it was a power outage that happened. But you know, but very similar to what Lowe's said about Denzel, there were people that I know that adore you, like everything. They adore you. So I remember I had a friend of mine who was actually in Martha's Vineyard. And she was in Martha's Vineyard when you were on, and I said, "Listen, you want to come on for Denzel?" And for JB, and she was like, "Oh my gosh!" And she was so thrilled. You made her day, and you know, and I know you've made a lot of people's day because a lot of people know you from Curb and different things. But you know, when they see you and you're always so gregarious and you know,
say that word again. Hold on, say that word again.
Gregarious. So I just want to know though, what's the serious side of JB look like?
The business side, the one who, you know, I just did a great interview on I think it's Earn or Leisure, I believe. But yeah, it's one of those things where, you know, you grow up in this business. You know, I'm 32 years in the business, so just order of things, man, and realize that you are a brand, realize you are a business, and I take that very seriously. That side, you know, you really have to, you know, if you go by history of entertainers, you know, some of them don't pay the taxes, some of them are hooked on, you know, different vices, different drugs, different whatever they're going through. You know, I have my interests, my charity, my things that are dear to me. You know, you guys know all my love for education, for young people to see the world and get out of their neighborhoods and see something different. You know, and don't get stuck in positions. You know, children too early and all these different things. I feel like are very important. You know. In their development, man, and I just try to stress all that good stuff, man. Anti-bullying stuff, of course. And anything I can lend myself to that lets, you know, because we grew up different, and now the world is 10 times as fast, and everybody wants the same thing. Everybody wants to fight for something that is not even theirs, you know. And it's like, you know, you got to earn these things, man, and you got to have patience. You can't burn bridges, can't step on toes, you can't have a rep behind your success. You know, your success should be genuine. How hard you work should be genuine.
Yeah.
It shouldn't be you know, I had to beat somebody to win. You know, what I mean, sometimes you don't got to
understand.
beat the hell out of somebody to win.
Well, you know, we had good
times, you know,
we had good parents, right?
Yeah.
And we grew up in the Boys and Girls Club, the Boys Club.
And you both were born in Plymouth.
Yeah,
North
we were both born in
Carolina.
Plymouth, North Carolina.
Yeah. Have you ever done a show in Plymouth?
I've done Raleigh, Durham, all around it. My whole family shows up with red clay on their shoes. My whole family come in one van. The whole in one van, ready to go.
Oh man! Hey,
tracking dirt off the club. I said, don't mind. Hey, if anybody, I always apologize to the audience. Hey, that's just my family. Red clay dirt. That's my family, y'all.
Hey, it wasn't no streets. It wasn't any streets. My grandmother lived on them dirt red roads. Red clay.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, man. I was like, man, you go outside, man. You think you in quicksand?
You really do.
So,
Hey, the court that I had, the basketball court,
Uh-huh.
man, it used to sink 2 feet lower when it rained.
listen,
Oh my God.
Hey,
listen,
that's when I knew I could dunk.
Oh
listen.
yeah.
Yeah, man, that thing dropped 2 feet lower. I could dunk that thing then.
Yeah.
Couldn't dribble the ball in it, but you could dunk.
Oh, of course
Yeah.
not.
So yeah, man, we
Yeah,
got to
man.
get
So
together, but man,
yeah,
you got to get together. But I want to thank you for popping on, man.
And I
yeah,
want to
man.
thank you. I want to thank you for loving my son the way you do. You
Man,
know.
that guy right there is he's real. He's a real one, man. You know, he's a real one, man. You know, and you know that's a testament to your upbringing, man. And you know, that's what they say you appreciate the journey and you know with the ups and the downs of it, and when you get to the end, you can say I did it. You know, like I always say, man, it's better to get the experience of the journey than to have something thrown at you that's given to you. You know,
Mm,
I like the journey because you
mm.
learn from every moment, every bit of it. You learn something from it, and I think it's very important to learn and do it that way. You know, I use the old analogy. I remember we used to pull over just to make a phone call and use that payphone. You had to pull over. You had to have patience to pull over, patience to wait for the person who's still on the phone in front of you. You had to have change in your pocket. You had to put that money in there and have enough change to keep putting it in there. You know, if your phone call go too long, man. That's how you gotta look at life sometimes. You gotta wait
Yeah.
sometimes. You gotta be ready with all your tools. You gotta have your change in your pocket ready to go. You know, and you gotta know what you're
Hmm.
gonna say. You gotta know what you're gonna say on that phone because you ain't gonna have a lot of time. So that's how I look at things, you know?
Yeah. Well, we want to thank you.
Yes.
Nonetheless, we want to say thank you, man.
Mhm.
Appreciate you for popping on, man, on
Always,
this
man. Always.
celebration here. We celebrating.
Yeah, man,
And
this is big, man. It's a big celebration, man. You
yeah,
know, this is
yeah,
needed. We need amazing podcast, man, and you guys do an amazing one. And when we need it, we need these voices, man, these true voices. You know,
yeah.
yes, indeed.
So thanks a lot, man. Tell Shaw we say
Yep.
what's up.
I'll keep
Tell
you
tell
guys.
her when she comes in
Yeah.
town, we got to do a vegan thing because I'm good. I'm good.
Ooh,
Y'all got to hit me.
Oh
Y'all got to
yeah.
hit me up. Y'all got to
We
hit
got
me
an
up with a
amazing,
good restaurant in Brooklyn or something.
We
we got an amazing
we
restaurant.
transition on last year.
We got an amazing restaurant that actually was one of the sponsors of my one course with JB Smooth, the new season on MSG. Uh,
Hmm.
Cadence, Cadence, everybody. It's called Cadence. It is absolutely amazing.
Where
An
is it?
amazing sister cooked meals on my show, on my one course show for the new season, and she was amazing. She was there every taping.
Where is the show? Where is the
They,
restaurant
they,
at?
they just moved locations. I believe, I'm not for sure, but look up Cadence. And I believe they moved to Alphabet in the Alphabets somewhere downtown.
Okay.
But that's east, yeah, southeast, whatever they call it. I believe it's there. They just changed locations to a bigger location because they're very hands on, and and something really cool because when they did our show, it was a very small restaurant. It's so crazy that I haven't eaten in the restaurant yet, so I've got connected with them online, and I thought they
Okay.
were amazing. I heard a friend of ours went there, said it was amazing. I said, you know what? I got my new season coming up. I'm going to use this amazing black business, and black chef to come in there and be a part of my show, man. And she was
Awesome.
so appreciative. And yes, and I told her, I called one day after I did Jimmy Fallon show, and I was heading downtown. And I said, hey, we want to come to Cadence. She said, oh no, JB, I love you. I appreciate your love online. But we are a very small restaurant, maybe 15 tables, and I cater to each and every person individually.
Mm,
Isn't that amazing? You get
that's
that kind of
nice.
service. And she said, I wish you had called me earlier. I got one table, but I don't want to put you way back there, JB. You are so awesome. And then even after that, I still said, you know what? I got something amazing coming up. and I'm gonna pull you in because I think what you guys are doing is amazing. I appreciate you trying to find me a seat, and I'm gonna pull you in on my show. You're gonna be the chef on my show, and I made it happen. And yes,
I put it up. You see it. It's Cadence Soul Food, 122 East 7th Street, Manhattan, New York. www.overthrowhospitality.com.
Yes, it is absolutely delicious. And she said, I'm not gonna make you what's on my menu. I'm gonna create something different for the show. And we did 10 guests, and she did an amazing job.
You think you can have her? We connect with Lowe's. Maybe we get her on the podcast. We would love to have her come on, talk about her restaurant. And we have a lot of vegan friends that do join the show. So it would be really good. So have her connect with Lowe's because I would love to have her. We have love to have her.
For sure.
Yes, sir.
Absolutely.
I like that.
Amazing. Yes. And yes, she said, I'm going to make you something totally different for the show. When you come to the restaurant, you can enjoy the menu, which is going to be a different flavor from what I did on the show. It's going to be, and she's going to be on one of those cooking shows, like one of those.
Okay, nice.
I'm not sure if it's Hell's Kitchen or the other one, but she's going to be on one of those shows. She's absolutely amazing. Yes, Cadence is dope. Oh, yes,
sounds good.
Yes, I'm gonna get her info, and I'm gonna make sure you guys connect. And yes, she will be an amazing guest.
Awesome.
All right, awesome.
Love you,
man. Thank you for coming on, man. We got to get together one of these days.
Yeah, man. I'm gonna be in town for another few days, so I'll make sure I tell Sha, and she's about to go back to the studio on a new album.
Okay.
And, man, beautiful things are happening, man. So
yes, sir.
Yes.
All right. All right. God bless you, man.
Later, guys.
Love you, man.
Love you guys.
All right.
Later.
Yeah. Wow. Talent and JB.
Man.
Yeah,
wow.
they just popped on, man, on our celebration show. And we got just one more. I got to show this one more video before we get off here and we close this down for this week. We're going to show you one more clip of one of our past shows.
The shows, and also we were at the Hairspray.
Hairspray. Okay, yeah. It was my first.
At Occidental College. You both guys were both in school.
Mm-hmm.
And just amazing talent between the two. Oh, there you go.
Cute.
Occidental, yeah. And you were awesome, man. I mean, between you and Lozy, you guys are just a standout in that show. And I don't know, were you thinking about, give us, because you graduated in a double major.
Yes, major and minor, but yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So major and minor, which was what?
Diplomacy in world affairs and minor in politics, which is not theater, to say the least.
Yeah. So you go to school for that, right? And then you end up, getting into the theater. I mean, what prompted? I mean, did you know that was something you wanted to do?
I don't think I was certain that I wanted to pursue it professionally until maybe I think around sophomore, junior year, I started to feel like something in my life was missing. I'd been performing like musical theater and at church throughout my whole childhood since I was like 6 or 7. And I knew I didn't want to study it in college. But again, I wasn't really sure if I wanted to pursue it after, but midway through college, I was like, I need more. I miss performing. And closer to senior year, I decided, okay, I'm going to take a few years to really pursue this because I knew if I didn't, I would regret it. And I didn't want to have that regret because I was young. I could travel. I didn't have to be in one place. I didn't have a bunch of crazy expenses. So I was like, I think this is the time for me to really pursue this. And I sat down with my mom and I was like, I'm going to try this for a few years. And if it doesn't work, then I know I tried it and that's not in God's plan and we'll put it to rest. But I had to at least try.
Yeah. So after school, when you did Hairspray, right?
Freshman year of college. Yeah.
And then did you do anything else after that?
A full musical wise? No, they had another musical my senior year or my junior year, but I wasn't interested in doing it. But I sang in Glee Club all 4 years, so that gave me my musical fix. We traveled around the U.S. We traveled to Spain and Portugal on tour, so at least I had that, which was really nice. And I did like the musical theater classes in the theater department at my college, Occidental. So I was getting fed in different ways creatively, but it wasn't enough for me because I needed a full musical. And so that's when I was like, all right, it's time to shift gears. And luckily I had people like Lozy and a couple other students that had graduated before me who were in the theater or some of the TV film industry. So I had them to like look up to and reach out to about like headshots and resumes, things I just did not know. And also a lot of the Oxy professors helped me network and get in contact with other alumni who are in the industry in New York, here in New York, and in all over the country. So that was super, super helpful.
Yeah. So where did Montaigne fit in there? Did you?
Yeah. Montaigne was a original musical written and directed by the father of one of our castmates, I guess, or one fellow peer student from Oxy, Joseph Charney. And so me and Lozy did that show. I want to say that was either my senior year, right after I graduated college, I think.
Yeah, that was Lencia.
Yeah. And you know what's so amazing about Lencia? Like, she did that show, and like not long after that, Lencia became a part of the cast of Hamilton.
Yes.
And so she's touring all over the country now. She's been touring for Hamilton. She plays usually one of the sisters. She's just an amazing talent. And there's always like a daughter to us. So we've had some folks on here at the beginning of their careers, at the end of their careers, in the height of their careers,
Yeah, definitely.
So you, my man, are an amazing host. And most of the people that I know that have been on your show say when they're on your show, they feel incredibly comfortable. And, I know a lot of times people want people to come on shows or to be host of shows and ask the difficult questions, make people uncomfortable. And that's not who you are. And so thank you for that, because you bring out the good in everybody in your shows. And so I want you to know that I love you and I'm proud of you. And I can't wait for the next year and what God has in store.
Yes. Well, thank you, dear. I appreciate that. And I know we run a little over with this celebration. Let me say, I always say when I start the show, my favorite words, I'm excited, and I'm still excited. I'm excited about season 3 coming up, and coming up with some more creative things, some new ideas. Hey, if you guys have any suggestions, anything that you think I could improve on, I'm always looking to improve and grow. And so again, thank you. Looking forward to next week. My good friend, I call him Dr. Carter. Now look, he's so impressive, right? That in Harlem, they named a hospital after him, the Henry J. Carter.
Right, and he didn't die.
No, he didn't die. He's still alive. He's still here. He's gonna be on the show next week.
A lot of times they wait for you to die to name something after you.
Most buildings that got name on it got somebody's name on it. They not here. Well, this guy's a legend. He's alive, and his name is on the hospital. I mean, it's gonna be incredible next week.
Yo,
man.
his energy is like Steve. Like he's like off the charts.
Yeah,
energy.
So I want to say thank you. Thank you to Rich. Thank you to Steve. Thank you to Talent for jumping on. Thank you for JB jumping on and spending some time with us.
And your kids.
And the kids. Yeah, Lozy showed up, coming from California. Sherelle's getting married. Woo! I got grandkids. We got grandkids.
We got grandkids.
Yeah, it's going to be fun. What did they say today? It's going to be lit. Yeah, so
Marsha said her Sunday evening pleasure. Absolutely.
Oh, thank you, Marsha. Appreciate you. Yeah, thank you, Larry. And thank you, Monica. My favorite Monica. Oh man, and Crystal. Wayne. Woo, thank you, Wayne. Crystal, thank you very much. I appreciate you. For your support. Yeah, this has been a great evening. And let me say this: continue to pray for us as we pray for you guys as well. I want to say, God bless you. Yeah, God bless you, man. And man, look, enjoy this week. We are. We're gonna enjoy this week.
Yes.
We are
We'll show
going to
you.
enjoy
We'll
this
show
week.
y'all pictures next week.
Yeah, we're gonna show you some pictures. We're gonna show you some pictures. It's gonna be great. And I love you guys. Thank you for your support of the Blueprint Podcast. And I look forward to seeing you guys next week. Please enjoy it. Right? Make every day your best day. God bless you.
God bless you all. Thank you.
We really hope you enjoyed this episode of Lowe's More, the Blueprint Podcast. Stay connected and follow us at our website, www.lowesmore.com. That's LOWESMOORE.com. You can also join the discussion on Twitter at Lowe's More and on Facebook at Lowe's More Jr. As always, thank you for pushing your mindset towards a better reality. This concludes the most thought-provoking portion of your day. Don't forget to like and subscribe to this podcast to stay fully up to date with everything we're up to. Until next time, be kind to yourself and each other.
What they teaching is a joke. I ain't buying it like I'm broke. Insufficient funds for insignificant terms.